Hi everyone, and welcome back to the channel. You may recognise this bike. I sold it 3 or 4 months ago. We did an engine swap. I'll come back to that in a minute. I want to welcome Pick Wizard, Steve is it? Pick Wizard, to the channel. Absolutely brilliant guy. Going back through some videos, having chats about them. Really kind of helpful, I think, and good with electrics, which helps me. And of course, thank you to all my members. I know I don't put out enough videos for you guys, but I really do appreciate the support from the members as well. So welcome to the group everyone, and welcome back all the old watchers. I love all you guys. This is the Motorcycle Rescuer, and I am the Motorcycle Rescuer. So yes, I sold this bike about 4 months ago. We did the engine swap. We took it from the old blown up engine, that one there actually, and we put it into here, and the engine's beautiful, it still is. What happened was the guy contacted me a few days ago and said there's a weird sound on the back wheel. And I was really torn. This bike's had a knock. Look, it's missing all its side plate. I was really torn between what to do here, because part of me is thinking, well, hang on a minute, you've had it 4 months, you've done many miles, the mileage has gone up, you know, quite a lot, guys, a lot actually. You know, take it to a mechanic. And then the other part of me thought, hang on a minute, if there's a noise in the back wheel, then the mudguard's probably dropped or something really silly, and we'll just kind of have a look at it. Now I have found the problem. The problem's very, very straightforward. And the rear pads are gone, they're non-existent. You're not going to get in there, I can't even get in there. But they're basically, it's metal on metal, and it's starting to, let me see if you can hear it. Metal on metal. So, yeah. So, I have ordered new pads for him, and I am going to drop the new pads in. But I was talking to John about it, and I'm going to charge him a few pounds. I'm going to charge him at least for the pads, probably £20, because I don't want people thinking when they buy bikes from the channel that it can come back all the time, rather than you guys use kind of local mechanics. So I'm going to set a precedent by actually saying, look, I can do it, but it's going to cost this price. Other than that, it's a good bike, runs and rides really well. We've got the brand new Wasau carbs down here. I'm looking forward, I absolutely can't wait to put them on. I want to show you guys them later, because there just isn't enough on YouTube out there about them, and people genuinely are considering these for their bikes, because the alternatives are £650. These are just over 200. And these are built to an equivalent of Amal Premier rather than Amal Basics as well. So I want to have a thorough look at these. I do want to mount them at some point and see if John's Triumph is back to normal, just good and running. And then I've got a couple of people coming down. I've had quite a lot of people trying to get me to do their bikes, basically. So I've got someone called Dylan coming down later today who needs help with his indicators. At times I have to tell people no. I mean, this weekend I'm super busy, but I'm gonna let this guy come down. I haven't promised anything. I've just said you can stay for a couple of hours, and then we'll look at what we can do within that time. And actually, I believe I now finally have the valve that we need for this. I think I finally have the valve, and that's something I really wanted to do this weekend, but I'm just not going to get the time. These rear pads, it's so annoying. You have to take off the back wheel, and to take off the back wheel you have to take off the exhaust. I'm tempted to try and get a nut in there and just move the wheel this way enough to not do that, but it's almost definitely not going to happen. So I'm probably going to have to drop the exhaust here. What am I looking at in there? What is that? I have never seen that before in my life. What is that? Like some sort of wadding. Well, that wasn't there when I put it in. I'm surprised. I don't know what that is. So let's annoyingly, let's start taking off the exhaust because we have to, and then rear wheel, and we'll get these pads changed over. I really hope I've got the right pads. I think I probably have. So I've always wondered this before. Can we remove enough space from the wheel just by loosening the nuts like I've done here, without having to take the exhaust off and get the caliper off? So look at what I've just done. I've just loosened all the nuts, taking off the securing nut in the middle as well, and we're left with quite a lot of space. Now I'm going to blitz these out fully so that the wheel will come across, or maybe even just take 3 out and tilt the wheel and keep the other on to pull the caliper off. I mean, you can see how much mileage he's done. I mean, look at the tyre now. Bloody hell. He needs to get that changed, like, immediately. So yeah, again, I mean, I've wondered this before, which is why I'm looking into it now. Can you get the caliper off without taking the exhaust off? Because it's a right pain taking the exhaust off. So that's what I'm going to try, see if I can tilt these enough to get it off from the other side. I'm not going to film it, you've seen it all before. But you'll see. Look at this, guys. I mean, that, oh man, he's been running on that. Look, the metal's gone. He's been running on that for ages. I just don't get why you don't go to mechanics earlier, guys, or learn some of the basic maintenance. It's really not great for your discs. I mean, it's not the end of the world. This disc feels okay overall, but ultimately, new pads will wear quite quick if the disc is scorn, you know. Well, I'm going to do what I do. I'm going to change this over, put the new pads in. Hopefully, let me just check that I've got the right pads. They look different, actually. They are different. Looks like this bike's going back in the corner. I'm going to pop these out. They look different. They're rear pads for this bike, but it must be different. I'm going to need to compare the olds. So I've got a short story and a solution for you here. Some years back, I remember battling a pair of caliper pistons. They would not go back into their seat. Little did I know that I was battling against fluid that goes all the way back up into its container and has nowhere to go. You will not push your pistons back in if you haven't drained out some of the fluid in your reservoir. The fluid needs to come back up. If it has nowhere to go, you're not going to push back your pistons. I remember this battle. It drove me nuts. I probably broke a few things, and I learnt my lesson. Good few years back. Looking at these, they do look the same. It looks like the actual slightly different on the bottom pattern, but they do look the same. I think they're the right ones. So I'm going to throw them on and we'll see how we lie from there. Something's just become apparent to me. It could be a bearing issue. It could be a bearing issue. It could even be the gearbox. Normally you used to have a filler here for filling gearbox oil. It might be that this is it. Don't worry about this liquid. I just cleaned it, but with vinegar. But really, I need to see where the gearbox is. on rare occasions it's under here. It is such a pain to get back under here on this bike because you have to take all of this off. So, not ideal. But it could be a hub issue. We may still have that sound. Or it could be the gearbox dry. But that, I mean, that is rare because they're just sealed units. But I want to get online and see how you fill up the gearbox oil in there. So that just for my peace of mind while we're here, you know. But the rear brake is done at this stage. So, for anyone curious, the drain bung is down here, and actually it is a little bit oily, so it could have leaked. And the fill-up bolt is here, and you'll use a syringe to pull it in. You want 80, 90 grade weight oil. I've got some in here somewhere, so I think I'm going to, I mean, I don't want to drop it all, but I do want to be sure there's some in there. The old, the 2-valve engines had a dipstick, very convenient. These ones obviously don't, so that's a bit of an issue. But it's only like 200 millimeters full, and you'll see it drip out when it's full. So I am going to syringe some in for my peace of mind, and hope that it's all okay in there. Like I said, it will drip out once I've put in too much anyway. You just let it drip out till it stops, and then you carry on. I guess the priority there for the owner is to keep an eye on this drain bolt in case it's leaking. I mean, I don't want to mess with it now because I don't want, if any oil's in there, coming out. Yeah, all we can do is what we do, you know, fill it up, see what's going on, see if any drips out, and play the game. Actually, that's all we can do, and hope for the best. My guess is this needs a new hub at this stage. What's the actual mileage? 24,000 km. It's not that high, but it's, you know, he's done a fair few since I owned it. And he does motorway miles, so yeah, my guess is it'll need a hub puller, it'll need a new hub on it, or a new bearing in there or something. But for my peace of mind, I am going to be putting in some gear oil, if you know, and I'll let you guys know if it's a little bit or a lot. So I put in the exact grade oil. You can see it trickling out. It's thick oil. It's 80, 90. Although it's trickling out fairly slowly, I'm going to put another squirt in. I put in probably 100 milliliters so far. So I'm going to put in a little bit more just to make sure that's topped up. Put the wheel back on and check the back brake and let this bike go from there. I'll tell him to keep an eye. I'm going to show him exactly where to keep an eye, and if he sees any drip spots down there or anything, to kind of basically either keep topping it up, or, I mean, I could probably nip that bolt off and just check the washer and stuff, but you know, it also may not have been a thing. The oil needs topping up on occasion. I mean, what I can do is run it up to temperature and keep an eye on here. We're looking at here and see if there's any obvious sign, I guess. May as well. And then it doesn't hurt to pop it and put a new washer on it or something.